Hi everyone. Everybody can hear me? Okay. Thanks for coming for this session of HTTP caching, Purge, Varnish, and CDNs. I'm Olivier Brouillard. Discovered World Wide Web in 1985 in Coventry Uni. Then I do some PHP in 2000. First Drupal website at the Paris National Opera in 2012. Since I'm a Drupal lead dev, I moved to Nantes, and now I'm at the Click Group Agence Digitale in Nantes. Click Group is a French IT consulting company of more than 1,000 employees. We are based in Paris, Lyon, Nantes, Lille, Montpellier, and now Grenoble. 2 people in Grenoble now. And we are a Drupal French sponsor. I already did two presentations about Drupal Cache, one in Lannion and one in Lisbon, all based on Birdie presentation from the Drupal Dev Days Sevilla. Here's the main menu. First, back to the basics. I'll explain basics, HTTP cache, reverse proxy, and the Drupal cache. Then I will use Varnish as an example to explain reverse proxy cache. What are they? Then the Purge modules and all the sub-modules linked to Purge. And then just some good advice, return of experience. And if we have time, a demo. So for the basics, just a reminder of what cache is. It's pretty simple. Just store the result of throw calculation, so we don't need to execute it again, and improve the performances. Everybody know the HTTP protocol? Okay, just a quick reminder. It's very simple, HTTP. You just connect to a server on, let's say, port 80, and send few lines. The first one got a method, a path, a protocol. The following lines are just headers. I could provide additional information. And then the web server just sends you back some lines. Again, the protocol version, the status, 200 is OK. Then some headers, and at the end, the content, the HTML response. So you can see all this on your browser, the DevTools network tab. Here's an example with Netcat. You just, with 2 lines, you have an HTTP request. So remember method, path, and then the headers. Reverse proxies, they are just basically servers between you, the client, the browser, and the web server, which we now call the origin. They are used for many different purposes: load balancing, filtering, optimization, security, SSL termination, and of course, caching the requests. So how HTTP cache works. It's used by the browser, obviously, but also by reverse proxy caches. It stores the content of the web page and the headers. It's very important. And the mechanism of the HTTP cache is based on the headers. The cache key usually is the absolute URL. From scheme, the domain, and the path, and the query string. And some headers could change the key, like the very header, when you can add the cookies, for example. Post method are never cached. It could, but usually never cache a post response, a post request. Here's a breakdown of cache console headers, of the cache console header, because there's many headers that can control the cache, but the main one is the cache control now, so the one in green. And there are some values. The first one is public or private. If it's public, the cache could be stored in any devices, reverse proxy, CDNs, etc. If it's private, only the final user could store it, like your browser. The most important value is the max age, which tells how long the cache could be stored in the caching system. If there's a prefix, S prefix is for shared. This max age is only used for the proxies. You can have a no cache value, which is misleading because it doesn't tell you can cache the response, but you have to ask for it revalidate the cache each time you want to use it. The real value for not storing the cache is no store. It means you can store anywhere the cache. It's a strong directive. There are many other values and headers, but this is the main one. Here's an example of a response with a cache control which tells, okay, you can cache this response anywhere for 15 minutes before asking it again. You can see there is a e-tag, expire is no more used. Does anyone know what this date means? The 19th November 1978? No? It's Birdie's birthday. Okay. The max age in Drupal is set in this page in the back office on the select list, the caching select list. Here it's 1 minute. It just sets the max age in the header. It doesn't mean that Drupal will store its cache, its internal cache 1 minute. It's not linked to internal Drupal cache. It's only the max age. So Drupal provides 2 core caching modules. The most important one is internal dynamic page cache. It's the core Drupal cache system, the cache API. It provides metadata for caching rendering. You know, each part which are rendered in Drupal are attached with metadata, cache tags, context, max age. All this metadata bubble up to the page, and when you receive, when Drupal renders the full page, you've got all this metadata that are gathered together. We will see later, it's quite important. So do not install it, never, ever. The internal page cache is more like a poor man Varnish. It really caches the complete page response for anonymous user and send it to the user. If you use external cache, you can disable it safely. That's why. So why we don't want to use internal page cache? Because it will not scale up and it doesn't handle easily heavy traffic. It also consumes a lot of backend spaces. So usually, if you have a website with heavy traffic, you replace it with a reverse proxy cache, a CDN, etc. It's okay because you've got a dedicated server which handles all the caching problems, but Drupal cannot invalidate the cache because it's an external cache. So how do we do it? Just a quick question: who's using internal page cache on his website? Okay.
It's a pre-installed.
Yeah, it's enabled by default. So maybe you don't know it, but it's here. And who's using it with proxy cache? Okay. So you're looking like Joey. You have too many layers. You can really you can uninstall it and just rely on the external page cache. So Varnish, it's the perfect example of a reverse proxy cache. It was created in Norway in 2006 for a newspaper website. It's open source with a commercial edition. The open source version has just been renamed Vinyl because they want to separate the commercial with the open source edition. There's free supported version, and you can find a lot of documentation on the website. There is a very big book about Varnish. It's a typical reverse proxy cache. It complies to all the standards. It uses cache control. It stores content and headers. It uses absolute URL as a cache key and complies to vary header. It provides caching preset out of the box and some tools for administration or to help debugging. It uses often the term backend for origin. Okay, it's a bit scary, but it's the whole schema of internal working mechanism of Varnish. Don't worry, we'll just focus on the basic processing. Varnish is configuration is stored in default VCL file. Where you can define the backends, the access control list, global settings, etc. And each of these blocks, the processing steps, could be override with functions that are called subroutines, very similar to Drupal hooks. So the request starts on the top left. When you receive it, so you can alter the receive process. Then you determine if it's if you want to sorry you want to know if it's cache, if it could be cache, and if there is a hit or a pass or a miss. If it's a post, it will just pass through. So we go to the pass block. And it could be also a control request, like a purge one, if you want to purge cache. Varnish use a curl HTTP request to handle the purge mechanism. So you go receive, you calculate the hash key, it's a hit, a miss, a pass. Then you ask the backend. So there is a backend fetch, and then the backend Drupal will respond. So you can also alter the response here, and then you deliver it to the client, which is the end. Here's a quick example of a VCL language, Varnish configuration language. At the top, there is the access control list definition. We only want the local website to have access to purge function. Then you've got typical if statement with in blue the object that are available in the receive, the request object. When the first if we want to, if it's a ban verb, then we go into the statement. Then we check if the client IP client is another object match the ACL or is not allowed, and then we check if request has a header which is called cache tags. We'll see it later. And at the end there is a return. The fifth synthetic response is when Varnish provides its own web pages. Varnish doesn't provide logs except traffic logs like Apache. So if you want to do some debugging, It provides you a querying tool, which basically filter the request in or out. On the top, you can see there is a curl. I want to ban something with two headers. And on the bottom, there is the request that can show me what happens. We know we're filtering on purge and ban method. We want to display the request URL, the method, the ACL, the status, and all the headers. What you see in the top, you find it in the bottom with additional information that the request match the ACL. It's just like a tail and grep. Just a quick fact, Varnish is a Swiss Army knife. You can do a lot of transformation on the request and response. On the left, you've got the origin, the backend response, and then on the right, you've got the Varnish response. As you can see on the top, you can add some information, like age, it's the cache age. It adds also accept ranges. You can change headers. You can upgrade protocol. Drupal is only HTTP 1.1 and Varnish provide HTTP 2 response. You can make some normalization, like there is two vary header, at the end we've got one. And at the end we've got some debugging information, like here a cache hit. Yeah. Again, the Drush birthday. Or maybe I did birthdays. Okay. Now we will dive in the main menu, the Purge module and all its submodules and third party. So Purge, you can clean external caches. That's what we are looking for, reverse proxies or CDN or maybe other mechanism. It can be extended through plugins and submodules. It works basically asynchronously with a queue, or you can purge cache directly. It's based on the cache API tags, and it provides, of course, Drush commands, maybe too much. When you enable the Purge module, there is a back office pages, which is a bit confusing, a bit complex. On the left, you've got the status and warnings. Some warnings are misleading or maybe overkill. Like this one, when you tell you that the max age is only 30 minutes, it's not a problem. I think what they means with left column is you've got all the layers of cache. On the top, you've got the Drupal one, the Drupal origin internal, which is based on cache tags. In between, you've got the reverse proxy, the CDNs, the purger that you have created, and at the bottom, you've got the public endpoint, which is basically the browser. So for each purger, the purger are the mechanism of the elements that will purge the external caches. There is some type of cache, which is the columns with letters it's summarized with letters. E is for invalidate everything. You can invalidate with path on wildcards, breakups, invalidate full URL using, of course, Drupal cache tags, and invalidate an entire domain. So there's a button when you can add new purge. On the bottom, there is the queue, the queuing system with queuers, which are the elements that adds purging task in the queue. So here there's Drush, the core tags, and a block if you want to set up a block. On the middle there is the the queue system, which is by default the database, a new table in the Drupal database. And on the right, you've got the processor, the elements which will pop out elements from the queue, and then ask the queuers to purge queues. To purge cache, sorry. Yeah, so it's the main elements, the main parts of a module with purgers, which are basically just curl, which is called the distance servers, the queue where you store the what elements have to be purged, the queuers that add, and the processor that pop out and process. Just a list of the modules. So there's the purge main module with provide the queue and the main API. The purge tokens, which are used, are Drupal tokens used in the configuration. We'll see it later. The Purge UI, the UI. Then we have two purge processor. The late runtime processor, which is the pro-man processor. It's triggered at the end of each HTTP request, so it's not very efficient. I advise you to uninstall it. There is the cron processor, which trigger each time the Drupal cron is hit. Maybe you want to use another way to do it. We'll see it later. And then the core tags queuer, which is listening to the Drupal core API. Each time a tag is invalidated, it will add it to the queue. This is the core of a purge module. There is also third-party modules. The main one, we'll see it later, is the Varnish Purger with also some modules. With the modules that add cache tag headers. The focal point purger and image purge are a specific module to purge the image style system. There is a generic HTTP purger, which is like a Swiss Army knife purger. It just do curl requests. If you have a new system that doesn't have its own module, you can certainly build the purge with it. And main CDNs usually provides their own modules. There is a module for Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly, etc. Here's an example with the Cloudflare one. So there is the module. It's complied to the Cloudflare documentation of API. If you don't know it, it's, I think, the most popular CDN. It works for free, and even the purge is allowed in the free plan with 5 purge requests per minute. So at the bottom you can see just the basic curl that can purge everything. So if we putting the piece back together, we've got the in the example of a Varnish proxy cache, we've got the Varnish Purger tags that adds the cache tag header to each origin response. So we see it when you enable this module. Each time you call Drupal, it will add the cache tags, all the cache tags of the pages in this header. Do not confuse it with Drupal debug mode, which do the same thing, but the header is different. And beware, because with complex pages, you can have a header which will grow, which will be overlong, and you can have 503 errors. So you have to set up to tweak the configuration of Apache, Nginx, or Varnish. You have to increase this value. And all we need now is to set up Varnish so we can understand the cache tags. Is I will. It's the overview of a complex system. We'll see the green arrows are the first requests. So when you ask for a web page, let's say node 1, you pass through Varnish. Varnish doesn't have the page in cache, so he asks the backend, Drupal. Drupal will build the full pages, send back a cache control and cache tag headers, where you can see there is a node 1 in the cache tags of headers. And you send it back to Varnish. Varnish understand he could cache the page for 1 hour and send it back to the user. If the same user has the same page or other user has the same page, Varnish during 1 hour will send back these pages. But if in the backend a Drupal user modified node 1 with a new title, etc., the node 1 will be changed, but no external user will see the modification for 1 hour. But when it changed the node 1, the Purge module will detect the cache tags changes and will add node 1 in this queue. So next time the processor will be run on the queue, it will ask all its purgers. So we've got one purger now, is the cache tag purger, and tell who want to purge the cache tag node 1. So the Varnish cache tag purger will build this request and tell Varnish, thanks to purge all your contents that have cache tags with node 1 inside. And so next time a user will ask Varnish, he will know his cache is not fresh anymore and ask the backend again. So that's the full circle. Back again to Varnish VCL. We've seen it before, but it's where the magic is made. Just on the, I don't know if I go, yeah. So it's here. You pass the ACL, so it's okay to accept the ban requests. And if if Varnish see a cache tag header in the ban, it will simply ban all the objects with the same cache tags. We'll see later, we can send multiple cache tags inside this header. With pipe, it's basically a regex, and it will be invalidated. If there's no cache tag header, it will simply invalidate the URL ask in the ban. So how to set up a tag invalidation purger? So if you remember, there is a button to add a purger. So when you click on the button, you've got this pop-up. So you give it a name. You select the type which we want this purger to purge tag. And then you set the Varnish URL, the port, the path. The path is irrelevant here, the method, the scheme. And if you click on the headers tab, you have to tell it to send a cache tag header, and it's where the token is used. You see, I don't know if you see it, but it's invalidation separate with pipe. So if you send multiple tags, there will be separate with tags. And don't forget to set the host, because Varnish needs to know the real URL of your website, or the URL of your website. Because remember, this part is part of a key. Oh, yeah. If you want to purge everything, because maybe sometimes you need to purge all your Varnish, you create a second purger, which it's basically is exactly the same, but you don't need to set just one header, but you don't need to set cache tag header. And since it's a regex, it will flush all the purge, all the content that start with slash. So all your website. At the bottom, you can see the equivalent if you do in curl for headers, and there is also a Drush command provided by Purge module. So here we are just sending block view as to be invalidated, and this one we want to purge all the website. Here's the main Drush command provided by Purge. The first one is Drush CRE, which purge everything. It's the same as Drush p invalidates everything, yes. Don't forget that Drush CR, the basic command that you use to purge Drupal internal cache, will never invalidate the external cache. So if you want to purge everything, Drush CR plus Drush CRE. So Drush p invalidates, then you can invalidate something immediately, not going through the queue. So you select a type, could be a type, a tag, everything, etc. And then if there is a target, put the target. Drush PQ add is the same, but it will just add this purge request in the queue. So purge p invalidate everything. Yes, we already seen it. If your queue reach the max of 100,000 items, you have to purge it. You can do it in the back office, I think, and through this command. It's a common problem if you're connected to an external cache that is very slow. So each time the purger, the invalidator, try to work the queue, are not working enough, and so the cache invalidation just speed up. So you've got to make some solution for it. Drush PQ work is just process a limited element, 200 I think, element in the queue. You can put dash finish parameters so we can go all through and empty all the queue. And Drush PQ stats just show you stats, just like the page status we see it. And you can reset the counters. There's all the others Drush command, but they are not very useful. I think it's used if you want to create all the things you can do in the UI. You can do it here, but I don't know why you're taking this, passing through it. So here's my feedbacks, my advice. So yeah, I remember, say it again, Drush CR does not execute Purge. Then documentation, especially in French, is a bit out of date. There is a lot of, especially for Varnish, there is a lot of VCL examples that are not quite correct, a bit old or with errors. Really avoid to use the late time processor. Remember, it tried to process the queue after it sent back a page. So each time one of your user or client are asking a page, it could run very long process at the end of a request, and you can it has a pretty good impact on performances. So cache duration, warning is irrelevant. The yellow line on the right. I advise you to remove the cron processor and replace it with a system one, a custom one. Just make the cron that execute every minute and just that execute Drush p works and with no interaction. So you know that every minute, the external page, the external caches will be purged, and it could solve the problem with the queue, which is split up. If you do migrates or massive updates, disable purge, or you will make massive call to the external caching system. There is some tweaking for slow API, external API. You can set up the max request per second, so some cooldown time. It could help. Use config split if you don't need purge on your local dev env, or to change the main URL for the URL you're calling the external cache with the one matching your environment. Do not use the Varnish 0 config module. It could work on some case, but it makes too much assumption. It tries to work without any configuration, but most of the time it won't fit your needs. But you can dive into it. It's quite interesting how they build it. If your proxies are load balanced, if you've got two Varnish in front of your Drupal, you've got to send a request to each of one. So there's two solutions. There is a patch. I didn't check if it's merged or not, but you can set multiple IPs. Ask your sysadmin to set up a multicaster. Mine was very kind. He built one out of nothing. You can get the code at this address, thanks to Laurent Ulrich. So all we've seen is a basic overview of all the purge and external reverse proxy. Feel free to do some fine tuning, use other modules, tweak Varnish in your own way. There's someone who sent me the information recently. If you don't want to use purge and queue and you use Varnish, there is a module that's called Advanced Varnish. I didn't test it, but it was worth the test. Is there enough time for demos? No. We've got 3 minutes for questions. Just don't do the demo now, but with DDev, everybody knows DDev? Yeah. Okay. It's quite super easy to set up a Drupal dev env, but also to add a Varnish. You just use the add-on get DDev Varnish, and you've got a Varnish in front of your website. Here's all the modules you need to install, and I use a small module for testing. And you can set the max page age with this command. And when you launch the draft describe, the main URL is cached behind Varnish. And if you want to target the backend, usually you've got a local address. Okay. I can just show you. Okay, so this is just a basic website. I put a token which displays the time. Yeah, no, it's HTTPS. I don't see it. Yeah. So that's the backend. You can see the seconds, and in the front, behind Varnish. And if I open hope the login will work. Performance, okay. The purge here. Yeah, I can do. No, the best one is to. Sorry, I'm not in front of my. Yeah. So like I use. Oh, sorry. I use the invalidate everything. So here. Okay, and if I use it again, sorry. Okay, and go back. Voilà, it's.
If you try to clear caches instead of.
Sorry?
If you try to clear caches instead.
I can hit Control Shift R. It's the same. If you look at the.
Caches, I mean.
If you want to just Drush CR?
Yeah, it's invalidate.
No.
No.
No. We'll try.
Yeah, please.
Drush. Oh, no, CA. CR, sorry. Okay. This one. You see? Nothing. And you can see here. You can. You know the. You can see the Varnish. Put the cache in Varnish is 45 seconds old. It's a hit. And it's 12 times. Okay. On the same page, here. You can see it's fresh. You've got all the cache tags with pipes. Okay. Yeah, with pipes.
I just have a question.
Yeah, it's perfect timing because we are 1 minute for questions, maybe more. Just the reference, I put it just for the slides and questions.
Thank you. So I'm using not Varnish but Cloudflare.
Yeah?
Yeah, it will be the same logic as Varnish.
Yeah.
And we just need to install the model that add the plugin of Cloudflare API into Varnish, into Purge.
Yeah.
Into Purge main model, right?
Yeah, I will repeat. So yeah, you're using Cloudflare and not Varnish. So you just have to install the third-party modules of Purge, which is called Cloudflare. You've got to have a plan for Cloudflare to have enough purging capability, and you can set up a lot of purger of tags. It's the most useful, maybe everything. If you want to purge all your Cloudflare caches, you can set up a purge for some URL. What else? There's a lot of
set up cron tab just for that Drush command.
Yeah. You can if you just want to be based on the main cron, Drupal cron, it's okay, but it's Drupal cron, you run it every maybe 15 minutes, so maybe your user want to see the cache invalidated more quickly. So
for the high traffic website, what do you recommend?
No, it's not a question of high traffic, because with cache tags you only invalidated things that are changed, that have been changed. But if you found that it's too much invalidation, you can space out the cron frequency, grow the cron frequency. It's a tuning.
Or you just put them on queue and
yeah, or just post the queue with 5 minutes. only. You can put some tags in blacklist because they are in every pages. So you don't want to purge all your cache for just one little change. So as I told, there is some more tweaking in the settings. Is there any other questions? Yeah.
If there is time.
Okay.
But what if your users browse your website while being logged in and they only have parts of the website customized to their profile and the rest is like generic, same as anonymous users?
Yeah, so
Can you repeat the question?
yeah, sorry. What happens if you have logged in users, so users with sessions? For Varnish, I don't know for Cloudflare, but usually when there is a session, there is a special subroutine in Varnish to add. If you detect a session cookie, you don't cache anything.
But what if you still want to cache parts of the website? Then not cache the parts of the website.
I think you have to do some advanced tweaking in Varnish, or maybe I don't know how to do it in Cloudflare, but in Varnish you remove all the cookies except the session, and if it's at the end there is one cookie left, so the session one, you don't cache it, but you can add some exception, like if you're on this, you purge all the session cookie for this part of the website, like slash real time, cache part, etc. You have to do it on the Varnish part, on the reverse proxy part. Okay. And next.
Use Edge insights for this one.
Sorry.
Edge insights for this one, so you can cache parts.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't dig. There is another one, ESI, no?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's ESI.
Yeah, we're looking into ESI or BigPipe, I think, but we haven't used it yet.
Yeah, but BigPipe is making Ajax request. I didn't.
Yes, so it's
So
different requests.
so you can make some exception on part of your website.
But for Cloudflare, you can have a control of which cookie you want to get the presence. So you can say, okay, if I have the session cookie with the name
Sorry guys, just
we'll repeat.
because we have another session, so yeah, you can continue afterwards. I think.
Okay.
You can just respond to this question and then.
Okay. If you or do you select the cookie that will invalidate, not pass the caching process? It's just some not tweak. You have to control it in the Varnish VCL. I can just put some. I can show you after, but really, a complete VCL is somewhere. Don't remember where, but yeah, I can show you. Okay, thank you, everyone.